feel like it's like, what color are my nails today?
Ooh.
Here we go.
Good morning.
Oh, almost tripped. Good morning.
You haven't done that in a while.
I know. I put the cord in a new place today. Good morning and welcome to the Sun Dragon Sideshow.
The Adventures of Liz and Rebecca.
Hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm like, maybe I should keep going. I'm the owner of Sun Dragon Art and Fiber. I'm already hot in this. In sunny and chilly, but not super freezing cold, Brevard, North Carolina.
I'm Liz. I'm the minion there.
I feel like I turned it... I have problems with the camera setup, like, every day. No, maybe I won't. I'm super, like, itchy to nudge it. I think it's tilted like this. A little. Maybe. No, it's because you're sitting further back from the table again, which is good. I'm going to sit further back, too. Did I cut you off from saying who you are?
No, I'm Liz. I'm the minion there. I don't know whether I said it, and...
I don't know either. Somebody tell us. When you watch this, somebody tell us. This is what happens when we don't do it live. Like, people have to tell us later.
Yeah.
But
that's okay.
Like I've heard these horror stories of people doing live things and, like, their account gets shut down because someone, like, cut in and said bad things or something. Or, like, you know, like, of course, that probably happened to, like, 2 people. But I'm convinced it's going to happen to us. So we don't do that. And I do think I have to, I want to start tearing this apart.
We'll start tearing it apart. Go ahead and discuss
okay.
while
Okay. Liz, I like to let Liz talk first because then I don't, railroad the whole episode.
I have not much to talk about, so.
Well, okay. So it's Finish It or Frog It February, and I'll talk more later about how I'm not going to finish, or it's like if I can't finish it, I must frog it. That is not what this means. It means we're assessing, you and I... Liz is not participating.
Actually.
Oh, hang on. Liz told me she wasn't participating. We are going. I'm putting my stuff into 4 categories, and I'll talk more about it later. But I want to frog some things on camera because I think it will be fun. And this one I think will be therapeutic for me. And then I want to hear about Liz's actually. So I forgot the other thing that's in here. Okay. So, this is one that's been in the trunk of my car since the Brian incident, because
we were gonna light it on fire.
We were. Well, because I was making this for Brian, and it's like, can you tell what this is? When you're done with it, it's fingering weight. It was going to be awesome. When you're done with it, you fold it, and you sew it together. Isn't this gorgeous?
It is really.
It's the piano scarf. And I will try to find the pattern. It's all curled on the edges, because guess what? It's stockinette, and that's what stockinette does. Until you sew it, like, this would be gorgeous. But there are too many bad memories on this for me. It's actually, like, life size. Like, if you do it at the right gauge. Like, and you're supposed to do it for 88 keys, so you could lay this down on a piano. And it would fit. And it would be gorgeous. But guess what? Bad memories. Don't like it anymore. I am going to therapeutically frog this while we're talking. But the other thing I realized, I haven't looked in this bag for over almost 2 years. I haven't looked in this bag. And I had the yarn, because to do this, you have to have like 2 blacks and at least 2 whites going. There's whites for the edges and there's whites for the middle and all these things, so you don't have to have a million ends to weave in. And I just stabbed myself with this. That's fun. I'm already hot in this sweater. I might have to take the sweater off.
Well, you have your comfy little yellow one behind you.
I do have the cardigan. I might do that too. I had all the yarn in... I'm about to make a big hot mess pile on the table. But I had the yarn in these cute little cozies so they wouldn't get tangled and or the easier to untangle and not dissolve like these little bits in the end will. And this is lovely yarn. This is Lorna's Laces. The yarn might have to get burned.
We can make
but I'm
that
gonna
happen.
frog this first. So But I got to get ready for this. This is gonna, sorry, I don't mean to strip on camera or anything. But I think I'm just gonna have to, this is one of our really old t-shirts. We do not have these currently for sale in the shop. We have our mustard yellow and our royal blue ones, but these are my dress code underneath all my hand knits. This is gonna end up being a hot mess that I'm probably not gonna ball back up, or I'm not gonna worry too much. Here we go. Things that don't bring you joy, frog them. Things that to finish it will not bring you joy. Like, I'm sure there's stuff that I have at home that finishing it will bring me joy. Being able to put an exclamation point on the end of the sentence will bring me joy eventually. But, and I'm going to have to move this down here too. But right now, as beautiful as it is, there's too much emotional baggage on this. I think it will be cleansing and freeing to pull this out. So, as I'm figuring out, there's my, oh no.
It's not a problem.
As I'm figuring this out, and yeah, I'm not even trying to do this neatly. This is just all this hard work I put into this. Not worth it anymore. So, I kind of love that when you frog things, it's got the kinky texture of being knit. Like, you can see what the knit stitches actually make this regular up and down. It's almost like the edge of a puzzle piece. So what is this about? You are maybe quasi-participating in Finish It or Frog It February?
Oh,
You've been telling everybody. She's been telling everybody for a week. She's not doing it. She's not doing it.
No, yesterday. So I still have in my head, I want to do a granny square sweater type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I have started one in Fiber Space. And, I mean, it's cool. I like it. Whatever. Still not exactly what I'm going for. So, I'm still looking. And so...
so, now you're doing some granny squares...
Yeah, now I'm doing...
In Saxony.
In Saxony. And they're more solid. They don't have a whole lot of holes. They have one little hole on, like a teardrop-y little hole on the outside corner. And I found somebody did a blanket or something out of those. And I was like, ooh, those look cool. They're just soft little granny squares. Or rings with the square. I don't know. And so I had started some gauntlets that I was double stranding.
The idea of a circle and then a square corners is really kind of cool. Yeah, sorry to interrupt.
I started gauntlets.
It's hard to focus while I'm frogging. You think this would be easy?
Nope.
Go ahead.
I started gauntlets in Saxony, double stranding Saxony, and they weren't getting done anytime soon. And then I was like, ooh, I'll do this! So I frogged out like 2 inches of gauntlets.
Oh, so that's all you mean?
That's
you
frogged.
You frogged your gauntlets.
I frogged my gauntlets. So
I'm messing up words first, and she's just going along on the ride.
So all the Saxony that I have, which is everything but like 2 colors, I'm doing the circles. This is red. It shows up black, but
it's
anyway.
Repurposing. I think
and
that's
then
wonderful.
I'm going to do the navy around the outside and connect it, and then for the bottom skirt and the sleeves, it's all going to be scrappy Saxony. Like, I'll do a couple of rows and change colors, or do a row and a half and change colors.
What you were doing before was almost more of a spring-summer weight, and this looks like it's going to be much heavier. Is that correct, or were you using DK before? I feel like I was using
DK. My second Fiber Space one has a little bit of Feederbrook in it.
Okay.
And it was all DK. So, it was going to be a heavier one anyway. But this...
to the next black piano key. Yeah.
Crocheting on a Mythological 7. So, a 4.5 millimeter needle or hook. And I kind of like it. It's nice and tight. But at the same time, it's soft. But it's
still soft. Relatively speaking, it is still soft.
So, anyway... That, and then I worked on dreads and spent a lot of time laying down and
because of your back.
Because of my back.
I don't mean to laugh. It's not funny.
But my back hurts. It's not shooting pains down my legs, so that's a plus. So yeah, but I really didn't do much to show off.
That's okay.
This weekend. So
okay, there's so many different parts of this scarf that is overlapping and switching balls and things. I'm like, where do I pull next? This is wow. This is just intense. But I think still very therapeutic. So, and I'm sure half of the things Liz just said later on, I'm going to be like, you talked about that on the show? Because this is more complicated than I thought it was going to be. But still very therapeutic to realize all this work I put into it and he didn't appreciate it. Or if he did, whatever. So I try to be too nice to him. Still. I think it's because we don't talk, so I feel I can make up all these stories about, I don't know, I don't have more evidence of who he is. Okay, so I'm down to I've frogged out,
It still doesn't look like a lot. I know
right?
it's fingering weight.
I've taken a couple of black keys out, so you can use that as possible reference. All right, so I should talk about the things, and because I just hit a point where I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be pulling on next. I'll go back to this if we start talking in general, or let me talk. Can you tell I'm used to not doing the other things while we film? So let me talk about Finish It or Frog It in general. So I was already saying I've made page on sundragonartandfiber.com, which is a website I don't do much with anymore. So this is both the knit along, make alongs, and Finish It or Frog It February are compelling me to actually do a little bit more with the website, the main website, not the online shop. But I still have the online shop to upkeep. So now some of you might see why, it takes a while to get stuff done. I'm putting a tally there of what's happening for me with Finish It or Frog It February, and I have 4 categories. So there's the Finish It or Frog It stuff, but it's not like they have to fit into those 2 categories because we've already talked about how we have so many projects on needles. That's one of the reasons you didn't want to participate.
Yeah.
Is you've got so many, you want to be the shining light for everybody to say, I have more projects on needles.
When people are like, I just have so many projects on needles.
Hold my beer. No.
Yeah. Hold my beer, A, and B, at least I don't have as many as Liz.
Yeah,
so,
right? There you go. Yeah. So I have I'm assessing the projects, and the ones I really don't think keeping in time out and finishing is going to bring me any kind of joy. And some of that may be practical reasons as a shopkeeper, right? Discontinued yarn, other types of things. I will definitely be frogging those projects. And I've already done a few, and I feel a lot lighter. I did one on Thursday. I'm doing one today. It's an unburdening. It's fantastic. I think if I turned it into, if I can't finish it this month, I'm going to frog it, that won't be an unburdening for me. That will be all kinds of guilt and pressure and deadlines. And so I'm going to finish what I can this month. I'm going to try, but I'm also not going to put deadlines on myself where if I don't finish things I'm hoping to, because I couldn't get as much stuff prepped last month as I wanted to. I did a whole tips and tricks on this. That's just ruminating on this.
It still goes along with the life still happens.
Yeah.
So planning out, there's only so much planning out that you can do without life throwing,
a monkey wrench into things.
Yeah. You took part of Sunday to do the page
to get all this set up.
Yeah.
So anyway, I have the things I'm hoping to finish, which is great. And if I can finish things and show them off to you, then that's, I'm trying a little bit more of monogamous knitting to do that. And I will say, oh my gosh, that is almost breaking me at times. Some of what I'm about to show y'all that I finished, it was it was really hard to only work on that.
For a non-monogamous knitter,
Yeah.
monogamous knitting is very, very difficult.
It's sometimes stressful. I mean, I tried to kind of go with it and not be stressed out by it, but there were times. There's 2 other categories, though, and I'm going to show things from all 4 categories before we sign off today. There are things that I'm done with. I know I won't finish, but either for the shop it would be useful to have, or from my own personal standpoint, it would be useful. Like, I don't want to... Like this, I want to rip out. I don't ever want to see it again. But there's other things that I don't want to rip out, that I'm proud of the work I put into it. I just know, logically, I'm not going to finish it. Like, ever. Ever, 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 unless it's the last thing left. So those I'm going to bind off. That's my 3rd category. And I might have them in here as shop samples. We already have a couple of things we've done with that. We'll see how many of those we can show off. And then the 4th category is pledging to finish it in the future. So things that have been in deep timeout for a while, but I really would like to finish them. I can think of like my stone catcher and my Princess Bride knit along. Those are things that I may not have the time and energy to get back to this month. And I can't finish everything on needles that I'd like to finish this month.
Yeah.
But I can revisit them and say, yes, these deserve to be finished from my personal sense of joy. Now, there's yours at home of the, I'd love to see X, Y, or Z finished. What you want and what brings me joy may not coincide. And I apologize in advance for those things. But I'm trying to keep a balance here, right? I'm trying to do things... Because if it brings me joy, there's more likelihood it's going to get finished. And I was saying on the Tips and Tricks channel as well, once you frog some things and cancel some things out, it gives you more time to dedicate to the things you really want to finish. Instead of, I have so many things to do and I'm not going to get them all done. So, all right, let me start with things I've frogged, which I can't show you. I can show you the end result. I frogged my Hitchhiker in Huasco Coton, 100% cotton. I was like, ooh, maybe this will make a good Hitchhiker shawl. It's a simple shawl. It's one I want in the shop. And it was not bringing me joy. I stalled out like 6 inches in or something. And if you look on my Instagram feed, you can see pictures of me of before and after and all that kind of stuff. But I still have the yarn. It's the second thing I tried to make out of this yarn. Does not mean this is bad yarn. It just means I can't find the right thing to make it with.
We've had other people make gorgeous things out of that yarn. Just none of them were calling to you.
And
And that's not the yarn's fault. It's not your fault. It's just the nature of life.
Right. And then okay, so the and I'm reclaiming all the stitch markers and needles from all of this stuff too. So this
Go right back in the basket.
Yeah, well, I was holding Mayu lace and sugar bush drizzle mohair together to make the Aise II, which is a nice, simple, just a little bit of having to think, but a whole lot of stockinette wrap that I thought would be beautiful to hold these 2 together. You can see the color holding them together versus the 2 by themselves.
It was gorgeous.
It was gorgeous, but I realized I was not inspired to finish it. Someone else might be able to finish it and love it and want it. Realistically, I was not going to finish it. I had to unearth this from a box of projects where it's so intertangled, I had to just break the yarn off to get to the project because I couldn't untangle this from everything else. I was able to frog this without putting it in the freezer. I had to yank at the corners quite a bit. But I have not separated the 2 yarns from each other. And the other thing that was like the nail in the coffin for me for this project was the Sugar Bush Drizzle is discontinued. And the Mayu lace is on its way out the door too. And so it wouldn't even be functional as here's a shop sample of how these things knit up or what you can do with this yarn.
Well, and the other problem that we had with that shop sample was that the color palette of mohair that we had didn't necessarily coordinate well with the color palette of the Mayu lace that we had. That was a happy accident.
That was the best combination we could come up with. The Espace Tricot came up with a pattern, and they had matching lace and mohair.
Yeah.
And we have mohair and we have lace, but they're not made to go with each other. And that was kind of what the effect was going for. And it kind of worked and it kind of didn't. And it didn't, I mean, it was a happy accident. I didn't really like how the colors were coming together. It was okay. And people found it beautiful.
I like the color combination.
It was not bringing me joy.
It was one of the few
any way,
that
shape, or
worked.
form. Yeah. And yeah. So, that's the biggest frogget. I frogged one on camera on Thursday. For binding off, since we're looking through this guy for now, one thing that I've decided, I was showing someone to frog this later. I was thinking about frogging this on camera. This is a crocheted shawl. I don't even remember the name, but I was using the Cascade Heritage Wave in Nightshade. And it was a wonderful to see how it was knitting up, but crocheting up. But I remember I did a morning meditation where the pattern writer thought I was giving too much of the pattern away, and other things were happening where it's not bringing me joy. And I haven't worked on it in years, and it's not. I think the last time I worked on it, I lived at Brian's house. And I almost frogged it on camera. And then I went, you know what? This is a really neat little sample of potentially how to see the color changes in crochet of this yarn. And we still carry this yarn. And it's squishy and soft and lovely. So I just bound it off. And crochet, that's just pulling the end through the last loop. So this will be a nice sample. This is a bind off. Once I find the name of the pattern, I'll add it to the list online. The other thing I bound off, and it was kind of freeing to do this because this was like weighing on me. When we first got the color changing mohair that I made my mohair sweater out of, I started making a shawl, a wrap with it. This is the Sphere colorway. The online shop says we have one. I have to go double check and make sure. We might not even have one of this colorway in stock. We've got other colors. The first thing I tried to see how the colors knit up, to see the colors by themselves, this is the Chevron Cloud and another Espace Tricot. They write lovely patterns. And theirs, again, was gray and gray. And I said, wouldn't it be cool to use, like, white of a crimped alpaca we have with the Wool Addicts and the color-changing mohair and just let it change colors. And it was gorgeous, but let's be honest, I was not going to finish it. But this is one color repeat. Let me bring it close to the camera so you can see the colors in there a little bit.
It is gorgeous and soft and floaty.
Gorgeous and soft and floaty and all done on 8s, and some of it's see-through. And since I was through one color repeat, I'm like, let me just bind it off and bring it into the shop and say, you know, if you really wanted to make this wrap, if you want to, like, I haven't blocked it. I could take it home and block it to see what's going to happen with it. It'll get even bigger. And then someone could make this shawl, the whole thing if they wanted to, but I'm only making a piece because I don't have enough time in my life for all the projects I have. But this still shows what the mohair by itself does, which is not the same as the mohair being held with a fingering weight in my sweater. So I have another shop sample. Maybe the ends will get woven in, maybe they won't. I don't know. So those were the things. Oh, Carol helped bind off a couple of things here at the shop. Here's another bind off. I had started the Rain or Shine Shawl with the best color combo I could find of the Rain or Shine Shawl by Stephen West is 2 colors of mohair held together, and you change 1 color every section. So there's always 2 different colors being held together. And I picked the best color combo I could come up with of the sparklies we had, because the non-sparklies were the Sugar Bush, which was discontinued. I didn't want to use that in a shop sample. It was not bringing me joy. I got this far in it, and Liz was like, keep going, it's great. And I was like, I don't like how these colors are coming together. And and then we got in the non-sparkly version of the sparkly mohair. So we have a wider color palette. And some people were saying, okay, just keep going, but change the colors. And I was like, I really want to start fresh. Like, this is not bringing me joy. But we can keep this as a sample of, again, how some colors combine, how they look, and we can keep this as a sample of the difference between what I'm going to make later. I'm not going to start it this month, but what I'm going to make later and how it combines with these colors. And I'm keeping some of the sparklies, and I'm adding in some other colors. And so, but we have a sample of what it feels like to hold 2 strands of mohair together and feel it. And feel the sparkly mohair. You might feel the sparkle in it a little, but not a lot. But this gives a good reference guide. You know, we try to be as honest and like transparent and feel it. If you like it, some people will feel this and go, it's so soft. And some people will feel this and go, I feel the sparkle, which is a little rougher, just a little. You get to decide. Don't take my word for it. If you can come in and feel in the shop. So, those are ones that I've bound off. And then in the finish category, y'all saw the hat I made for my nephew. I need to donate this, but I wanted to show y'all before I donated. I finished my crochet blanket. This was Yarn Chicken. I won at Yarn Chicken. I'll sew this end in later today. When I was doing single crochet around the edge. I'll just hold this up. You can.
Okay.
I finished this. Ta-da! With all the rainbow around the edge. And it's wobbly and wonky, but it's done. Yay! I can move on and I can donate this. My deadline knitting is mostly done. So this guy got finished. I used up so much of the yarn from Christmas crocheting.
You only had like 2 tiny little bits left.
I have a little bit of black left. Yep. I have like half a skein of black, and I have this little bit because I wanted to stop and not go halfway through a row with any other colors. And I switched to the white, and I just barely used up the white perfectly, which is great. The other thing I finished is I finished the baby blanket of the Tarn. Here is how it looks. It's not blocked yet, but here is how it looks following the instructions from for the smallest size of the Tarn. Our winter knit along has cables in it. This is how the cables look. I wanted to show you all before and after from blocking because it doesn't really lie flat right now. I tried to make the bind off as loose as possible. I probably could have made it looser. I lost at Yarn Chicken on this one. I was in my 3rd skein and I was binding off, and this is how much I had left when I didn't want to push this any further.
Not enough to open another ball.
Not enough to open another ball. So I was going to finish my bind off with this color, and I left it at the shop. So I've bound off with black so I can show people in the shop. Here is what 3 skeins got me. This is the size. Most people might want to make one bigger than this. But I'm holding it up on today's show so y'all can see if I block it, it's going to get bigger.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to get bigger. And hopefully lie flatter. So y'all can reference, if I hold this up on Thursday or next Tuesday when I finish blocking it, what happens between unblocked and blocked. I really like showing that off to y'all. So I finished this guy too. So I can put at least 3 things in the finish category. At least 3 things in the bind off. I'm not trying to have it all be equal, right? But I'm trying to put things in one of these categories, and I just got stuck on the rug. I wanted to show y'all, my next thing was going to be the Reluctant Homeschooler, but I left the yarn here. So I'm looking at the sweaters that are on needles, that are on size 11 needles. So I was able to, and I just had the yarn go everywhere.
They're all going.
It's all going everywhere, but we only have 8 minutes till the shop opens, so I'm going to pick it up in a minute. Since it's on size 11 needles, I knit last night on my Lara Pullover. I'm on the sleeves, and I think I'm about halfway done with the sleeves. I was thinking if there was time today, I would get this off of the 2 needles and try it on, but I think it's going to take too much time. I think I'd rather spend the last few minutes frogging more of the piano scarf, which I can do all day today, and see that it's If I put this on, I bet it would be around at my elbows. I'm supposed to do 16 inches. I may or may not do that full length. I will get close to that and I will try it on. I have short arms. So sometimes doing exactly what a pattern tells me to do means that...
Yeah, I generally need like 14.
Yeah, means that I won't need to go that long. You're supposed to go to an inch less than the length you want it to be. And then switch to your smaller needles and do there's garter edges on all of this. This guy, I'm realizing I tested my gauge, and my gauge is a little smaller than what is called for in the sweater, but I'm already on 11 needles, and going to a 13 is a huge jump. So I wasn't going to go to a 13, so I may be gently pulling on this when I block it, which is all the more reason not to make the sleeves too long. I mean, I can block 2 measurements fairly well, but yeah. So, anyway, I'm like losing my train of thought because of the frogging and the other stuff. So this one, I hope to finish maybe even at knit night tonight. And either I'll try it on Thursday or I'll wait till next Tuesday. But I like to do the whole before and after for blocking so y'all can see it. In case you're watching us like a TV show and watching every episode, in order. I wouldn't blame you if you jumped around a little bit though. So there's all my stuff. Oh my gosh. And maybe I'll put in some pictures before I post of this. Like, this is what I frogged.
That looks so cool.
So, before we sign off, Liz, let's go over our schedule for the week.
Okay.
I'm going to let you do that because I can't talk and do this at the same time.
Tonight's Tuesday.
Uh-huh.
I'm saying that so I remember.
Oh, do I need to feed you the line? Like, we're
Yes.
gonna do virtual sit and stitch tonight from 7 to 9 p.m. on Zoom. Get in with the shop phone number.
828-877-3550.
So you don't give us your home number or something like that. Or who knows what happened last time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's tonight. Tomorrow is the VSC. And we still don't really know what we're putting up there, so no spoilers.
I have thoughts and ideas.
Thoughts. We always have thoughts. But,
none that I'm going to share with y'all before tomorrow morning, so
yeah. And Thursday is Dear Becky and Lizzie. If you have any questions, the best way at this point is to email Liz at sundragonartandfiber.com.
Look at her doing that. Good job.
Friday, another sit and stitch. Saturday we work here. Sunday another
Sunday
sit and stitch. It's our Facebook Live and Zoom.
The dual platform
from
mouthful
1 to 5.
Eastern.
Yeah, Eastern time. So it's going to be like all afternoon. Yes.
Come when you can, leave when you have to. What?
Yes. We do know it's Super Bowl Sunday.
Now.
Yeah.
Not when we pick the date.
Not when we pick the dates, but
we're not that football conscious. Sorry. Yeah. Although, if we were rooting for teams, I think I would be rooting for the Eagles, and
I'm rooting for the Chiefs.
So we'll see.
It's only because we grew up in those or spent time in those areas.
Pisca Penny picked the Eagles to win, so we have our own version of the groundhog here.
Our little
it's a white squirrel. Yeah, and she gets to pick the Super Bowl winners too. She thinks the Eagles are going to win, so I don't know. But I haven't lived in Philly in a while, so
Yeah, I haven't lived in Kansas City in a while. It's just
But all of the virtual stuff happens technically before kickoff.
Yes.
So unless you have a really hot Super Bowl party to go to, and even if you do, you can go into a side room and chat with us for a little bit if you want to. It's up to you. We will understand if you're not there. It's okay.
Come when you can, leave when you have to.
Yep.
We just there are Sundays that we schedule these things that it's kind of like, well,
it worked for 4 weeks or whatever, and and sometimes with religious holidays we won't do that, but I know for some of you football is that important. I'm sorry. Come to the next one. It's all good. Everybody's got life and got things to do and stuff, and we should open the shop. Yep. So I got another I still have all this to go. Oh my gosh. But, this feels wonderful. Because it's been rolling around in my car. What am I going to do with it? What am I going to do with it? What am I going to... And, This is what I'm going to do with it.
I have ideas.
Of course she does. It is superwash merino, so we can't just, put it outside and light it on fire.
Extra things have to happen.
Guess what? Wool doesn't burn. Bet you didn't know that. It's not combustible on its own.
It'll scorch, but it will not light. It'll catch fire. Makes fantastic hair. Because, there's, Anyway.
Okay. Yeah.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Gotta go.
We will see you tomorrow.
Like, subscribe, ring the bell, all the fun stuff. Bye.
I wish I'd gotten it all done on camera, but there's tons of it still. It's just, I could save it for another day too, but I got too much to frog. We'll see.